Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. And I hope everything's good in the hood. I think you guys know the introduction by now. But yeah, I want to jump straight into it. So Jermell Charlo releases a statement saying that a lot of people have been doubting Jermell Charlo that he's not going to rematch Castano. He's not going to do this, he's not going to do that. And Jermell Charlo comes out with a statement that, listen, the performance was what it was. And he basically said, I don't want to win by narrow margins. I don't want to become undisputed by a narrow margin. I want to win by a wide margin. I want to win where people say I'm a winner. And most people had Jermell Charlo losing that fight. I personally had it 7-5 to Castano. But I told you I like Jermell Charlo. He's not a typical guy that, you know, can't take defeat. You know, you get a lot of guys that can't take defeat, make excuses. Jermell Charlo's not cut from that cloth. Jermell Charlo is a proper fighting man. I like it. That's why I like his energy. He wants to fight the best. He wants to get in the ring. Like a lot of you guys, see, a lot of you guys are Canelo fans. So I know that I'm a massive Canelo fan, and you guys know this. But the fact is, you've got to give someone credit where it's due. There isn't nobody in the 154-pound division that has fought the killers that Jermell Charlo has fought. I personally thought I thought I had it 7-5 to Castano. But at the end of the day, you got to give this guy credit, man. He's fighting back-to-back top competition. Jermell Charlo is the truth. Guys, I'm not just hating it. I really like Jermell Charlo. And people said the same thing after the Harrison fight, when he got beat in that fight. Let's not forget, he never lost this fight. Whether you think he lost or not, he's lost a fight before. On paper, he's lost a fight before against Tony Harrison. This was a draw. And when he's lost, he's not like, I know he didn't lose against Castano, but a lot of people had him losing. It wasn't like he got outclassed, or, you know, it was 7-5, or, you know, against Harrison 7, like it was close. And then in a rematch, he knocked Harrison out. Mackay said yesterday that, you know, I said that the thing is with Jermell, he's got a great coach, and he's going to go back and prepare and make adjustments for this fight, like he did in the Harrison fight. But then Mackay said, well, he didn't make any adjustments. He's just more aggressive. That's an adjustment, Mackay. That's an adjustment. That in itself is an adjustment. Because he knew he knew in the first fight he wasn't aggressive enough. He didn't put enough pressure on Harrison. And again, in this rematch, he's going to come with a plan. Now, Ray pointed out that you've got to give Castano credit, because Castano was able to push Jermell back 100%. And Castano is a top fighter, and he was able to push him back. But I think next time Jermell will use a lot more movement. It won't be as easy for Castano to get to him like that. And I think when Jermell does get on the ropes, he'll move from side to side. He won't stay on the ropes. You see, there's a difference between being pushed on the ropes. Yes, you can be pushed on the ropes, but staying on the ropes is your choice. Because Floyd Mayweather, when he fought Manny Pacquiao had him he got in and out. You look at the Khan Maidana fight, for example. Maidana was very good pressure fighter. Khan used movement to get in and out, right? The only times he was on the ropes is when he was hurt in the fight. Jermell Charlo he was hurt once in the fight, but he wasn't really that badly hurt. I felt like he, as the trainer said after the fight, that he stayed too long on the ropes. Yes, a fighter can push you back, but you staying on the ropes is your choice, because you can go from side to side. Now, maybe Jermell was worried that if he was to move around a lot, he may wear himself out. He may get tired, possibly. But in the rematch, they're going to be prepared for that. They're not going to stay on the ropes. He's not going to stay on the ropes. And this is what I say about Jermell, that I think his ability to make adjustments during a fight is lacking right now. However, he's proven in the past that he can come back and avenge defeats. He's done it. And I don't know why people would doubt that he would duck Castano. You've just seen him take a loss before against Harrison, and he came back and rematched him right away. This is a fighter. That in itself should tell you that he's a competitor at heart. That in itself should tell you he's a competitor at heart. The fact that he lost the fight against Harrison, and it was a very tricky style. Harrison wasn't a great style for Charlo. It wasn't a great style for Charlo. Yet he rematched him. That in itself should show you his heart. With Wilder, when he fought Fury, this should show you Wilder's heart. Wilder fought Fury, and Wilder, in my opinion, lost the first fight. Yet he still fought him the second time round. He didn't have to fight Fury. He could have ducked Fury. He could have said, no, I don't need to fight Fury. But that shows a fighter at heart. He's a competitor. He wants to be the best. He wants to fight him again. He wants to put the wrong right, sorry. And that's the same with Jermell. This is why I like Jermell Charlo. There's something about Jermell Charlo. He's got a great personality. He's got a great character. I like Jermell Charlo. I think he's a very good fighter. Not just that, I think he's a guy that wants to fight the best. And he's proven that. His resume proves that. And this is why I think it frustrates me. It frustrates me that people are giving Jermell criticism because they're saying he's overrated and stuff. Not everybody's as good as Canelo, where they can just run through a division like Canelo is at 168. Most fighters aren't that good that they can just run through divisions like that. There's going to be fighters that are going to give guys like Jermell Charlo trouble. Castano was that. Harrison was that. But what I like about Jermell Charlo is the willingness to fight the best back to back. And his resume proves. He fought Austin Trout, right? He fought Williams, Rosario, Lubin, now Castano. This guy's proven that he's willing to fight the best. He's a guy that is willing to fight the best. And we need more people like that. We need more fighters like that in boxing. And the fact that he's willing to go, and I'm very confident he's going to fight Castano next. Because like I said, I saw that fighting competitor in him when he fought Harrison again. See, people forget about the fact that Harrison was a bad style for Charlo. And let's not forget I actually thought Harrison legitimately beat him. This Castano fight was closer. Harrison beat him. And yet he fought that guy again. And I personally think Harrison's style is even more difficult for Charlo. Even though Harrison's not a huge puncher, Harrison's a very good boxer. A mover. That's the style that's going to give Charlo a lot of trouble. Castano's a bull. He's very strong and he'd push you back. But those type of guys, you can make adjustments and beat. And I do believe that Castano has one way of fighting. He's going to do that, apply the same tactics again. And who knows, maybe Jermell will struggle again. But I personally think he will make the adjustments. I actually think the Harrison fight was tougher for Charlo. Because Harrison, for me, is a better boxer than Castano. And for me, stylistically, that style for Charlo is very difficult. If you put someone that's a very good mover, somebody that's a very good boxer against Charlo, that style is tough for Charlo. And I'm not saying Castano's style is not tough, because Castano's tough and he's a very good fighter. But I think Charlo is good enough, athletic enough. I think he's got the ability to make the adjustments for the rematch. And most importantly, I think he's got an unbelievable coach, who's one of the best coaches in the world. A lot of people don't talk about that. He's very, very intelligent, very sharp, and he knows what he's doing. And they're going to come up with a game plan to neutralize Castano in the rematch, in my opinion. I want to see the rematch. The rematch is one of the biggest fights in boxing now. One of the biggest fights in, I'll put it another way. One of the most anticipated fights for the hardcores, because we want to see how Jermell gets on in the rematch. Can he set the record straight? Can he prove that he can make the adjustments? Can he prove that just like he did for Harrison, he can come back and beat somebody who got a draw or loss as it was in the Harrison fight? Can he come back and stop him and show that he is the number 154 pounder on the planet? I believe he will. Some believe he don't, and that's why we want to see it. We want to see this great fight. We want to see this. I personally think it's a great fight. Castano has done himself proud. Castano's a really good fighter, a really, really good fighter, and he was being overlooked. And I don't want to, listen, I don't want anyone to say, oh, well, Castano was now being overlooked. Castano's a great fighter. And, you know, nobody thought Castano, prior to the fight, there was people that were saying it's going to be a tough fight and Castano's no joke. Yes, but nobody thought Castano was as good as what he proved on that night. Most people underrated Castano, or virtually everybody, even the ones that thought he had a chance. They didn't think he was as good as what he performed. And this is why I have a problem with people criticizing Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo is a great fighter. Brian Castano is a great fighter. When you put two great fighters in the ring with each other, you get great fights. Two great fighters in their primes fighting each other usually get great fights. In this case, one guy was underrated. It wasn't that Charlo was overrated. No, one guy was underrated. People didn't know much about him. He wasn't that well known to the boxing public. That don't mean he can't fight. That don't mean he's not great. Andy Ruiz, he wasn't really known, really, was he? Prior to fighting Anthony Joshua. People knew, there was people in the industry that thought it'd be a tough fight. They thought that he'd give AJ problems. They thought there was people there saying it, that they thought Andy Ruiz was a tough fight, even though a lot of people were mocking him and saying that, look at the way he looked. And Andy Ruiz went in there and absolutely just destroyed AJ. This is what I'm trying to say. Just because you're not known, just because you're not a name, just because you haven't got the credit in your career thus far, that doesn't mean you're not a great fighter. Brian Castano's that. And this is why I'm saying that rather than criticizing Charlo, give Brian Castano credit for being as great as he is. Charlo's great, but what Brian Castano proved is he's great. And when you put two great guys in the ring, you're going to get great fights. You're going to get close fights. They were both hurt. Castano was hurt a couple of times. Charlo was hurt once. Very close fight. Castano's pressure was unbelievable. And listen, if the fight was 1-1-14, 1-1-14 across the board, maybe people may have not complained as much as they are now. But because one of the judges had it 117, 111, people's reaction is what it is. But Jermell Charlo, for me, is the real deal. I've always said it along, I think Jermell Charlo is the real deal. And I think Jermell Charlo will come back. And he will fight him again. The fact that people are questioning that Jermell will duck Castano is... He fought a guy in Harrison and lost that fight. And he came back and in the rematch and beat him. Surely that needs to be commended. The fact that he didn't have to rematch him, they could have gone on to rebuild and come back after. But no, he took that fight right away. He wanted to prove that he can get in. So I'm personally looking forward to this rematch. I think it's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to Jermell Charlo, fighting Brian Castano again. I think that's the fight for both of them. I think that's the fight that makes sense for both of them, to be honest with you. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. Let me know if you think Jermell wins the rematch. Let me know if you think Jermell won't win the rematch. I'd love to know your opinion. Love to know your thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.